And and going back to that, and it was kind of embedded in my thought when I was asking you the other question. How do you not get weary? Because it feels like we make steps forward for the working class. We make things happen that are good, and then they get torn apart by the ruling class. What is your inspiration, and how do you keep going?
Because I understand the system. I see it's the system that's in trouble. Why the hell would they be? Listen, you should see the community I live in. They're in they're in Redbud Avenue. Why in the hell would the United States government be spending all these resources with flashbang grenades? It's they who are in a state of desperation and weakness. The working class and the colonized people suffer from a lack of organization and somehow ideological and theoretical clarity, which is one of the reasons the African People's Socialist Party was attacked. But it is they who are suffering, and they have competition now that you never had, not only from the oppressed, but from China, from Russia, all these other forces, from a Venezuela that can refuse to get on their knees, from a Nicaragua, from the Taliban who beat them, yet they're starving today by keeping Taliban's the people's own money, keeping the Afghans' own money that's stuck in their system and what have you. So it's a whole new day. It is they who, look at Biden slithering over to Saudi Arabia to fist bump somebody he said that he was going to treat like a pariah forever.
Right.
Of course you are. That's not strength. And bombing my house is not strength. And to say that a system is so fragile that they're concerned about what Black people are saying in the heart of the most oppressed sectors of the community, that is not a sign of strength. That is severe stress and weakness that they're confronted with. That's the thing that keeps me up, you understand? Because we're going to see the demise of this system, So no matter the outcome of July 29th, it's somebody once told me, I don't hunt, but somebody once told me that you can shoot a running deer in the heart and it can still run for another 50 yards before it collapses. This deer has been shot in the heart. And, so it's in motion now, but I can, the signs of the crisis are very obvious,
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So, and going back to some of the building that you're doing, how can, my audience that's watching you now, that is moved by what you're saying, that wants to be part of it, how can they be part of it? And what do you have coming up? What are ways that they can support?
Well, the first thing I really, really invite everybody, all of your listeners, you don't have to listen to what I'm saying, come to St. Louis. Come, and if you're closer, go to St. Petersburg, Florida, or go to Oakland to some of our centers where you can see the actual work. And I think this is important because what the government would do is create this notion of this force that's out there that's, in the dark and in the shadows doing all these evil things. Come and see for yourself. We are transparent. You don't have to use a flashbang grenade to get to see what we are doing. Come and see. That's the first thing we invite you to do. And I want you to also be aware that there is a Hands Off Uhuru, Hands Off UHURU website is handsoffuhuru.org. And there you can connect to see what it is that you might be able to do. And I'm going to be touring in the recent period too, so people can support that and go to Hands Off Uhuru. And also the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement, InPDUM, is having its convention on September 22nd and through the 4th in St. Louis. Come to St. Louis to the convention that's going to be held by InPDUM. Nothing secret about it. And you might have to go through a winding search, because you might be somebody who wishes everybody harm, but you won't have to use a flashbang grenade. And you won't have to have an armored vehicle out in front when you come. So
no tanks needed.
No tanks needed. And so you can go to InPDUM, InPDUM, InPDUM 2022 eventbrite.com to get up on that. I really think that people should go to the Days of Reparations to African People. And that's going to be happening in several cities, including Oakland, Philadelphia, and other cities. And you can get information on that by going to Uhuru Tours, UHURU uhurutours.com. And then there's a Uhuru Book Fair that we're doing in Philadelphia. We have a marketplace there in Philadelphia, and that's going to be September 17th. And you can go to apspuhuru.org, apspuhuru.org, or visit Uhuru Tours for that as well. And finally, the 14th annual march that on the White House that's done by the Black Hispanic Coalition for Social Justice, Peace, and Reparations will be occurring on November 5th and 6th. And all the things that I'm mentioning now will be highlighting this thing that happened on the 29th and trying to anticipate how the people can move, should move, because in many ways, what just happened to us is sort of a light in the canary in the mine. So, so please look at all of that stuff. And in terms of the Black, and our websites are being disrupted. I should mention that too right now.
Oh, wow.
So this whole thing about, especially around the annual Black People's March on the White House, November 5th and 6th, 2022, Washington, D.C. And you can go to blackisbackcoalition.org and get information on that.
Yeah, and Reef has put a lot of that in the so audience members, if you missed any of that, you can look at it in the underneath what we're talking. We got the links, and then we're this stream is gone on Rockfin and Rumble, and YouTube doesn't always leave up my interviews, but so far it's still up. So but Rockfin and Rumble don't censor, and Odyssey doesn't censor, and also so you can find all the links there for anyone. And if you want to ask questions of the chairman,
well, I want to be talking more to you about these entities platforms that don't censor. And I just also want to say that it's a real delight to have met you. It really is.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. I mean, it's been a complete honor for me. I really love all the work that you've done. I want to support it and lift up your voice any way I can. And I know you lift up my voice as well. We have to lift up each other right now. And because they don't want to allow anyone to expose the empire and expose the colonialism and the imperialism.
Exactly.
And anyone who does speak about it, we get punished in one way or another. So as far as you mentioned the events, and those are wonderful, and the things that you're doing. And by the way, my daughter actually has a doula certification. It's a very for people that are interested, doulas are kind of misunderstood sometimes. But they go in hand in hand with midwifery, and it's a really great, actually needed service. And they not only help with birthing, but they also help post. They help with breastfeeding, and sometimes there's difficulty latching on and whatnot. And it's things that aren't in communities right now. And sometimes hospitals are funny about allowing doulas or midwifery students in, or experts in, but now they're getting better. I mean, it depends. It's just how it is.
I mean, you look at St. Louis, where they closed the only Black hospital in the city, and I told you about the consequences in terms of the death rate of Black babies. So this is a really urgent task, and I appreciate it. I'm glad to hear that your daughter is doing that. And you're right, it's more than just the birthing process, but there's a lot that's associated with it that these women do and can do.
Yeah, it creates community and answers questions that, and especially if you don't have insurance, or your insurance lacking, it's you don't get services, and they're crucial when you have a new life coming into the world. So I really admire all of that. So Reef, did you want to bring in any more comments or questions? Because I know we're getting close to the end here. You're muted, just so you know. Okay, good. All right. Well, I wanted to leave kind of the last words with you, Chairman. What would you like to leave our audience with, and kind of as we move forward here?
I want to, first of all, express my appreciation to you and to your audience for coming on to this discussion.
Thank you.
I don't think that this is something that gets won in the courtroom. I think it gets won with public opinion and with people like yourselves who have the courage to step forward and to struggle against the narrative that's been constructed for us. I would like for your listeners to express solidarity and support to the party, to our movement and opposition to what the government has done. I would like for your listeners in the process of doing that, those who are capable of stating that you support our right to advocate and organize for the liberation and unification of Africa and African people. You don't have to have that as your political line, but to support our right to be able to do that, I think is really important because it's bigger than us. And we've seen too many generations go through this who advocate and organize around the same thing we're doing. And so whatever the outcome of these indictments and threatened indictments, it has to contribute to building a movement and building solidarity with the right of African people to have a free Africa and to be a free people globally. And then I'm asking your viewers, again, go to the Hands Off Uhuru website and then come to St. Louis. And if St. Louis is too far, if you're in the West Coast, go to Oakland, where we have a meaningful base and organization doing concrete kind of stuff that we're talking about, or go to St. Petersburg, Florida, or go to Philadelphia, and to see concretely what it is, and also to prove to yourself that we're a transparent force, that you can see concretely what we do and how it affects the community. So those are things that I would call on your viewers to do, and also to accept my most profound appreciation for being with me and you for the several minutes that we've just done this.
Oh, thank you. It was a very meaningful conversation for me. And I wanted to leave on this note about Uhuru, the meaning in Swahili, if you want to give the definition to
Uhuru, yes. Uhuru in Swahili, it means freedom. And it's really something when people are afraid of Uhuru. It was a slogan demand that was put forth by the Kenyan Land Freedom Army that was called Mau Mau, who fought the British for freedom, for freeing our Kenya in East Africa. And so it is a slogan demand that's familiar inside sections of the movement, while it might not be that common. And people often refer to us as the Uhurus, and most often not knowing what the hell it means. But it means freedom in Kiswahili, yes.
Well, there you have it. And on that note, Uhuru, and thank you so much. Much gratitude, Chairman. Hope I see you again soon. And to the audience who joined us, thank you so much. Look at the links, follow the movement, do what you can and participate, because we are going to create a new future and it's going to be better. This is,
and if you know any lawyers,
oh,
we'll be
talking
more. Yeah.
Oh, you need, and if you're a lawyer,
yeah,
if you're an attorney,
yes.
Contact, the organization, because I think there's might be some things coming down the pike for all of us actually, but for them specifically, for the movement. So there you have it. Have a good night. And thank you for joining us. Please do check out those links that are in the chat. All right.
Right on. Yeah. Thank you, Tara. Thank you so much.
Uhuru.